time of the strike was now, middle of Pride weekend here in Seattle, headquarters of the company. It's the right time to make a statement about, we will stand up together, as our whole union, protecting one another. Because, when we fight for
Let me just go ahead and start by saying you guys saw the thumbnail and you thought to yourselves, oh my God, Starbucks workers are showing off their pride and whatnot, even though Starbucks in a lot of locations took down their pride decorations. And of course, Bud Light is now forced to give out free beer. But don't worry, we'll be covering all of that because, yeah, go woke, go broke. And of course, after you go broke, then the wokes begin to eat you. So according to CNN Business, it's roughly right around 150 separate Starbucks locations are receiving some form of protest. However, they're being protested by the actual LGBTQ, let's just say the group. Don't worry, we'll get to that in a second because a TikTok was released on this where the employees are saying stuff like Starbucks needs to put their money where their mouth is. Let me just go ahead and tell you right now. Starbucks is a company that has prided itself on being a little bit more progressive than other companies. However, the thing about some companies that claim that they're progressive, these people are finding out that these companies are not exactly what we call actually progressive and actually on their side. I've actually told a lot of these wokes before that they're just useful idiots and they've been getting used for a while. Bud Light's a special case. We'll get to Bud Light here in a second. I wanted to start with Starbucks because I think Starbucks is a little bit easier to explain. So they released this video here, which I'm about to show you, and then I'm going to come back on the other side and explain why it is that these workers, for the most part, are going to be SOL in most cases.
So Starbucks works on strike for the day and throughout the weekend because of what Starbucks actions are right now. And I got one of them, people right here. And can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Liz. I'm a worker organizer here at the Starbucks Reserve Roastery on Capitol Hill.
Okay, yeah, so how long have you worked at Starbucks?
About a year and a half at this location.
Okay, so what's been going on? So why are we out here right now?
Yeah, so we're on a weekend-long strike. It started with a walkout on Thursday evening. The catalyst for this action is the way that Starbucks has been targeting queer and trans workers across the country. That's a company that really prides itself on its image and its support of the LGBT community. But we're finding across the country they're taking down pride flags, they're not letting people wear pins, things like that. At a time when there's already a lot of harm happening to these communities, it's something that's really difficult for us to, be proud to work at a company that says they hold up these ideals, but then don't actually put their money where their mouth is. And this is just, cumulative on top of all the other frustrations we're dealing with. The time of the strike was now middle of Pride weekend here in Seattle, headquarters of the company. It's the right time to make a statement about, we will stand up together, as our whole union, protecting one another. Because, when we fight for...
Starbucks is also now claiming that they're going to be ensuring much, much clearer guidelines going forward. But with this crowd of people, this crowd of wokes, this crowd of mentally ill, I don't think that you're going to be able to explain anything to these people because no explanation that you give is ever going to be good enough. Basically, the woke are about to eat the faux woke. Obviously, you got the trans... whatever and all that stuff there, of course, saying, we need to get this company to put their money where their mouth is and whatnot. And of course, we got to go back to how this entire thing started with Starbucks. So basically what happened in their case was when the whole Pride Month thing began to take a bit of a nosedive, which of course is only about 2 more days in the month of June by the time of the recording of this video here is actually finished and released, meaning that we can go ahead and move on to the month of July, which of course, I personally wish that somebody would just straight up just go ahead and ban Pride Month because let's go ahead and be honest. Our veterans only get 1 day a year, and those who died in service only get 1 day a year. Why the hell is 7.2% of Gen Z getting an entire month? I think it needs to be banned outright, and quite frankly, you guys have seen that go woke, go broke in this pride thing is not exactly working out for these people, but I'll digress for the time being. Fact of the matter is that Starbucks, which is a very, very large company, they decided to take down the pride decorations in a lot of places. So, the 150 protests, from what I am seeing, are occurring for the most part in much, much larger cities. Much, much more woke cities, meaning that they're protesting the locations that are already woke and putting this stuff up. Of course, that there being the pride flags, the paraphernalia, the decorations, all that stuff there. However, let me say this really quick. I live in a place that's not exactly conservative, okay? It really and truly isn't. It's a relatively small town. It's a university town in eastern NC. I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out which one it is of all the many towns that is there. I'm not going to tell you which one it is to be exact. I just don't want to give out my location. It's just the way that I am. However, here's the thing. There are about 6 separate Starbucks in the place that I live in. That's a lot of Starbucks. No pride decorations. I've been around town. There's a Starbucks right down the road from me. There's also another one on the other side. And, of course, I think they're putting up 2 more over there near the university. No pride decorations. None of that. If you go to a Starbucks, say, in a state like, say, Kentucky, guess what? Outside of Louisville, then there's a lot of small towns and a lot of medium-sized towns in the state of Kentucky. Just using it as an example. Same thing in Ohio, same thing in Indiana. Guess what? You're probably going to see the exact same thing. No pride decorations on any of these places, meaning that some of these areas are a little bit more conservative than others, or a little bit more modern than others. By the way, I don't live in a county that is conservative. I live in a county where actually everybody outside the city I live in is pretty well conservative. But this county, I think, still voted for Hillary, I think, by 4 points in 2016 and Biden by 6. It's not that conservative of a county. It's a pretty well, and that even includes the university with a bunch of liberals there, but not as many as you might would think. It is a much, much smaller university. Fact of the matter is, this entire thing is a little bit more regional, and I think that these people are obviously a little bit out of touch, that there being these wokesters who are actually protesting, and of course there was an explanation. Another explanation that was given to this. Let's go ahead and roll this.
From last Friday. Starbucks workers at 150 stores go on strike over pride decorations. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They said that there was no policy to take down pride decorations, and then 150 United Starbucks stores in the United States went on strike on Friday. I think I said about 3,500 employees will be on strike, and I believe we have from the post-millennial, Starbucks union boasts they closed 21 locations last weekend in response to the alleged LGBTQ pride decoration ban. I think it's fair to say it's not alleged. The workers at these stores said they weren't allowed to put up decorations. I don't care what corporate is saying. The people are, they're actually protesting. Here's what I think happened. I think Starbucks said outright, we're going to lose a bunch of money, shut it down, and the workers protested. I think that what we're seeing now is, as I mentioned earlier in the show, the Bud Light effect shows get woke, go broke, but also anti-woke equals clicks. And so you're seeing a lot of apolitical people now coming out and being like, oh, yeah, I don't like Bud Light, because they know they're going to get a million hits if they do it. Starbucks was just like, we better get out of this one. Just take it down. And now their employees are revolting.
Second, I'm going to piggyback on what Tim said, because Tim released a video earlier today, and somebody else also released one. I want to say it was Benny Johnson, and then there was another one, like 3 or 4 videos were released on this topic today. And I want to say Greg Foreman also released one as well. And I've got, I think, the solution to the entire problem, as in the reason why it is that a lot of places are starting not to push this entire stuff anymore. And I think it's actually a positive, but I'll go there in a second. Now, with Bud Light, of course, it seems to me has kind of given up. Now, they keep on saying that they're recovering. There was this article from Rolling Stone back in, I think, April the 16th. No, I think it was April the 9th, where they stated that Kid Rock was wrong and that Bud Light would be okay. Bud Light, of course, as you guys know, basically went broke. They have sent people that were in charge on administrative leave. They are now trying to bring back the Bud Knight, you know, the guy who did the whole Dilly Dilly commercials, and then they had the old blue Bud Light suit. Yeah, it was actually that level of cringe that I think started to send people away from Bud Light to begin with, but go right ahead. I'm showing you guys this ad that Bud Light released. They're trying to be funny again. As a matter of fact, that's what Bud Light used to do to kind of get their brand across. They had the much, much more funnier commercials. Outside of Budweiser and the Cold Frog thing, Bud Light typically aired on the caution of satire for their ads. I mean, there were the ads that I think included the mob ads where the guys would keep on saying, how you doing? There was also the What's Up apps. Bud Light did that stuff. Yeah, I know I'm going back in time a great big deal, but Bud Light did that stuff. So they're trying to go back to comedy, as you guys are seeing. People don't know how to use their cell phone, walking through screen doors, tripping and falling. It's not something that's going to work. As a matter of fact, they've actually got to the point now to where they have to give out free beer, or essentially free beer. There's a New York Post article. I'm rolling you guys some of that right now, where the figures have shown that it's already dropped to like 28%, and they're expecting another return on 4th of July. The problem is this here. People are not going to be buying Bud Light on 4th of July. Okay, I mean, look. Before I sit here and talk about the price of Bud Light going down, I want you to know right now, the grocery store right down the road from me, it's a food line. I've got a Walmart neighborhood market right down the road. There's also there's like a Piggly Wiggly. Yeah, I live in North Carolina, so we have, we had the good old-fashioned pig here. They sell a lot of great meat, of course, that comes from very, very good farms, all that stuff there. Very, very great beef. And of course, they do a very good job when it comes to pork. They always get some pretty good stuff. But the price of Bud Light itself is actually up. It's the price of Natural Light. It's the price of every other Anheuser-Busch subsidiary company that's actually down. Maybe they're trying to make up for the loss. I have no idea, but people still are not buying Bud Light. People are not going to want a Bud Light. So now you got to basically give this crap away from free, proving that Rolling Stone article from earlier this year saying that Bud Light would be okay. Obviously, that is not the case. Obviously, Bud Light is suffering from this, which I personally think Bud Light, for the most part, is dead as a brand. Now, look, Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, all you had to do was come out after this and just say, look, we made a mistake. We made an error. This right here was not meant to be anything other than a one-time thing, or you couldn't even say that there. I mean, just say, look, we obviously made a clerical error. We got burned on this. We apologize. And what you should have done was not release it in an ad per se, as in like an actual commercial. What you should have done was actually go on YouTube or social media and actually, or maybe even in a press conference, say, look, we screwed up. We made a mistake. We obviously did not know our audience. We obviously screwed up here. This way will never happen again. And people eventually will just say, you know what, man, Bud Light went through this whole gay phase at one point in time. You know, they just would have trolled you at best. I mean, like I said, now, all of a sudden, White Claw looks masculine to Bud Light looking feminine because of the stunt they did with Dylan Mulvaney. I don't think Bud Light's ever going to recover from this. I've said before, the only thing Bud Light could have done, the best thing Bud Light could have done was gone ahead and came on out and actually apologized right then, saying, look, we screwed up. If you had done that, you probably would be out of this mess. Guys, here's where I want to end the video at and give you guys a bit of a white pill. Obviously, Bud Light's stock going down. And really quick, Bud Light also took part in a drag event in Toronto, Canada. Okay, DC Drano, I'm showing you guys this tweet right now, and DC Drano was basically saying Bud Light's not going to want people to see this video, and I'm like, obviously that's not the case, or else they wouldn't have done this, where people could actually film it, put it on cell phone, post it to Twitter, and all that stuff there. Obviously, Bud Light does not care anymore. They know that they've got a woke audience now, which is not really that large when you actually, it looks a lot larger than what it really and truly is. The thing is where they've made their bed, they got to lay in it. And I think it's actually a white pill to the American people because obviously they see exactly how this company, how their values actually align, and they obviously know not to buy that product anymore. But the reason why it's a white pill is because it proves that here in the United States, people still have diversity in thought. People have the ability to obviously say something, to call something out. Even those people who may have regretted their vote, some of them people are probably going to shift back over to the right or not engage in the next cycle. A lot of these people are fed up that everything has gone totally crazy. A lot of these people thought that if they just got Orange Man out of the office, they probably felt that maybe the monotony of the left would stop. And of course, they found out, like I said, and like many others, that would obviously not be the case, that it would actually get a lot worse. But now I think a lot of people are seeing the light. It's one of the main reasons why it is. I don't think communism would ever work in the United States or socialism because we just have too much diversity in thought. Yes, there are American socialists out there who want to enact socialists. There are communists out there who are absolutely insane. They're loons. But these people obviously never read our Constitution. At the same time, they obviously never took civics or listened to civics because obviously you have to have a Congress and a Senate to vote on that type of stuff, which actually obstructs a lot of that type of agenda anyways. People of diverse thought will put people out there to put something like that in place to stop something like a communist invasion, at least on the governmental level. Now, whether it hits the streets or not, you're obviously seeing some of this nonsense now, but we'll probably say that from the topic. Fact of the matter is this right here. In the United States of America, you've got so many people with diversity in thought. And even those freaks out there who don't want freedom, they've been having freedom their entire lives. Take that freedom away from them and see how the hell they respond. Guys, John Claymore here. If you guys like this content, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you think I've earned your subscription, please hit the subscribe button. Also the notifications bell so that way you guys are notified when my videos come out. Right now, this is the second video, or actually this is the video that's going to be released at 3. The other videos about New York City is going to be released at 5. I may release one more video tomorrow night. And I do have a video for short timer prepping, Gear Issue 33, my backup channel. I'll leave a link in the description box. Please you guys go check that channel out. It's for my more military related content. Make sure you guys follow me on Facebook. You guys can, all you got to do is just go to Facebook. I'll try to link it in the description box for you guys to follow me there. Also, one more thing too, please leave a comment in the comment section. I would love to get you guys' thoughts on this, and I will see you guys later.